Hello, welcome back to No More RIP, No More Residing in Poverty. My name is Ray Williams, and this show is about building personal wealth. Each episode, I talk about real life situations and information. Building wealth is something that we all should learn how to do. It's not about becoming rich, but becoming comfortable. So, building wealth, think about it. You can build wealth. If you're working, you can build wealth. Okay, first of all, before I begin, let's do some housekeeping. Okay, you can visit our website. Down at the screen there, you see the website. That's www.yanonemmett.com. If you have any questions or comment, you can email me at info@yanonemmett.com. And also visit our YouTube channel. That's youtube.com/no-more-RIP. It's also there at the bottom of your screen. Now, everybody basically in the industry stress financial literacy, but I'll say pound on financial literacy year round, particularly for African Americans. So financial literacy is power. 10 proven strategies for increasing credit scores is a masterpiece, because that information contained in that guide is information that is accurate and that we have used over the years. And as some of you know, I always talk about the credit scams. People try to make consumers believe that it's difficult to get your credit scores up, or it's difficult to get any items removed from your credit. But it's not. It's a matter of information. So take advantage of the guide and also the free consultation. Remember, no more residing in poverty. You need to start figuring out how to get out of poverty. And the way to get out of poverty is through financial literacy and education. Okay, let's see. The book for this episode recommendation is Think and Grow Rich, A Black Choice by Dennis Kimbrough. One of my favorite books. I have lots of them. But Think and Grow Rich by Dr. Dennis Kimbrough. And the reason I recommend that book, because that's what getting rich and building wealth is about. It's about thinking. It's about having the proper information and learning how to think, learning how to see opportunities and how to think about those opportunities. And you take advantage of those opportunities and build wealth. So think and grow rich. And I don't want to go into too much detail about that. Let's see. Also, we have, remember, the credit report. I always recommend get a copy of your credit report, the free copy, the official free copy. You can get it at annualcreditreport.com. That's annualcreditreport.com. And also, if you want your 3 credit scores, you can pay, I think it's $29 per month, but you can cancel that at any time. But you will get all 3 FICO credit scores. And I always tell people that's where you want to start. Start off with your credit. If you don't know what your credit scores are, find out what your credit scores are, and then start working on increasing your credit scores. It's not that difficult. So take advantage of it. Okay, this episode I will be talking about steps to making $20,000 or more within 180 days. Again, steps to making $20,000 monthly or more within 180 days. Now, some of you may say, oh no, that can't be, but it is. It happens. It's happening. And why? Because of technology. Technology can accelerate how you make money. Believe me, and I'll give you some examples as I go. But this is what I recommend on how to get started. Produce something, a product or service or both. Like in my case, I have products, I have services. Well, say products and services. I have several products and services. So you must have something to sell. Now, Another way you can make money, paid workshops. If you have a experience as a mechanic, or almost anything, you can conduct monthly or weekly workshops. And I will give some numbers on how this adds up when I get to the bottom here. And you can also do online coaching. Now that's a big one, because online you get set up. You can do it free. Basically, you set up free, and you can do your online coaching. Now let's go back to products and services. Let's say, for example, let's start with a product. Let's say you have a product that you can profit $10, only $10. And there are lots of products through drop shipping, or you can create your own product, but something. And let's just say again, your profit is $10. So to get to $20,000 per month, you need 2,000 customers. Sounds like a lot, but it's not when you think about it. When you think about marketing. Now, once you have your product, you need your target market. Who's your target market? You discover who your target market is, where they're located. Are they nationwide? Are they in specific geographical areas? Now, once you determine your target market, then you want to advertise. Where do you advertise? Lots of sources now, online advertising: TikTok, Facebook, Instagram. So there's so many ways to advertise online, and it's reasonable. Years ago, to advertise, or like say on television, average business couldn't afford to advertise on television. But now with internet and social media, a lot of times you can technically advertise free, but it's not called advertising. It could be called, marketing, basic marketing. But there are ways you can somewhat advertise free. But let's talk about paid advertising, because it doesn't cost a lot. So let's say you could reach, let's use a small number, 1 million. 1 million potential customer. Your reach is 1 million. So out of that million, you only want to get 2,000 sales. Now, if you know you have a product or service that people will buy, it's a numbers game. Now, it don't have to be 1 million. It can be maybe 100,000. So if you reach 100,000, but your target number in this case is 2,000 customers. So now 2,000 customers at $10, you're at $20,000. And you just continue that cycle, continue advertising. Once you find out which of your sources are drawing the most sales, then you focus in that area. So think about it, 20,000 per month. Now, how much will it cost you? That's hard to say, because that depends on how many sources that you advertise through. And give you an example. Say the Super Bowl. I don't know what it costs because I don't watch it, but I know it costs millions of dollars to advertise for 1 minute. And the reason they pay that millions, $5 million, whatever that number is now, is because reach. The Super Bowl reaches millions of people. And the advertisers know that, hey, if we reach X amount of people, there's a possibility we may get X amount of sales. And that works for the small business also. It's a numbers game. Now, let's change the numbers. Let's say that if you have a product or service and I'm talking profit also, not revenue, I'm talking your profit. So if you have a profit on that product or service of say $50, and you get say 1,000 sales per month, so now you're at $50,000 per month. And if you don't believe me, do some research on technology. A lot of these people that's on YouTube, Instagram, and TikTok, and they selling these products, mostly products, drop shipping products, etc. That's what they're doing. They're playing the numbers game. So if you want to make $20,000 per month, do it. It's not that difficult. To give you an example, I have a t-shirt business I started last April, and I'll be straight up. My average profit per shirt is $8. Some people try to sell their products at too high of a price, but you want to decide how much you want to make off that product. So if you're making $8 off the product and you decide, well, my goal is to sell again 2,000 shirts or whatever per month. So now where are you? Now you're at $16,000 per month based on only making $8 per item. Okay, now let's switch those numbers again. Let's say you have, let's say 10 products or 5 products. So now you're not depending on making 2,000 sales from that one product. So that's why you want to expand your product line or your service line, because you don't want to rely on one particular product. Department stores, or mostly any stores, do not rely on one product. People that have services, they do not rely on one service, because they know that if they only offer one services, they're leaving money on the table. The show is No More RIP, No More Residing in Poverty. My name is Ray Williams. I am a financial coach and educator. You can reach me. Information is on the screen. But please, if you have any questions or comments, contact me. For those people who are not, say, technology astute, you don't have to be. Technology is so easy to use. And if you don't know the basics, find someone who do, and get them to help you set up. Hire a, say, coach to coach you on how to set up your TikTok account, Facebook account, how to use different applications, etc. But if you want to make $20,000 or more per month, you need to get started. The opportunities are out there. Learn about drop shipping. What is drop shipping? That's when you advertise a product and the company actually delivers that product to the customer. I won't go into detail, but look up drop shipping. As I told you, I have a t-shirt business, one of my businesses at least. And same thing, I create my own designs, and that's it. I market the shirts. When my customers order, the company ships the products out. So you can do that. T-shirts, tote bags, towels, candles, various products. But you find something to sell or some things to sell. That's the key. That is the key. You must have something to sell. Go to the website. It's on the screen also. www.yanonemmetinc.com. Visit our website, look at our products and services, and see how you can get started and you can start making money. $20,000 per month. Now, you may not want to make $20,000 per month, so let's scale it down. You may only just be a person who, I don't want to put the time and effort. I only want to make an extra $5,000 per month. So again, you scale down your numbers. Or if you want, say, less sales or more sales, adjust your profit. So if you want to make, say, you have a product, say, for $100, then how many sales do you need? So if you got $100 profit, then you may only want 50 sales for the month. But what I have found, again, depending on your target market, sometimes it may be easier to have a lower sales price. It's kind of like Walmart. Walmart have volume, work on volume. Costco works on volume. So you want to work on volume. At least that's what I prefer. It's easy to get people to spend $10 than it is for people to spend $100. Some people see it differently. Some people say, well, I have to put in the same work, so why not go for $100? So it depends on your strategy. That's all it is. What is your strategy? How much do you want to make, and how do you want to make that money? And with the economy at this time, a lot of people need more money. I saw the other day where it was like 3,000 black females have been laid off this year. No, it's not 3,000, sorry, 300,000 black females have been laid off this year. Trucking companies are laying off. Technology companies are laying off. And unfortunately, the downside is that a lot of companies are not hiring. So if you're one of those people and you need extra money, or you just got laid off, find something to sell. Find a group in your area that you can network with who understand these things and can work with you. Look for opportunities. There are lots of opportunities out there. Like I mentioned, a year ago I did not have the t-shirt business. I was getting my shirts printed at a local company. And so happened my daughter mentioned, well, why don't you drop ship? And I had never thought about it. So I checked into it. I found a company. I saw how easy it was to get set up, and I started. And I got started, and I hit the ground running. Didn't spend a lot of money. Actually, the software the company I use is free. They have two programs. They have a paid and a free program. The free program is enough for you to get started. So it doesn't take a lot of money. So look at it this way. You can start a lot of businesses now for less than $1,000. So it doesn't take a lot of money. But what you want to do is, hey, how do I do this? How much do I have? How much do I want to spend? So let's go back to, let's say you're broke, because that's what I like to talk about. It's broke people. I mean, you are broke. You have no money in the bank. Some people say, well, how do I make money? How can I get started if I have no money? Creative. Become creative. Flyers. If you have a computer, a printer, you can make your own flyers. Get started in your local area. I remember years ago, before all the technology, I used to go door to door. I would make up my flyers, and I would go door to door, put my flyers out. Door to door, put my flyers out on car windshields. You do what you have to do, because if you want to make it, you have to work a little bit, but the return is worth the effort. My name is Ray Williams. The show is No More Residing in Poverty. That's what I want to help you do, is get out of poverty. And if you're not in poverty, if you're a little a little above poverty, we want to take you higher. So I spoke with someone yesterday, and I explained to him the best time to start a business is when you are working. And if you're one of those people, you don't want to step out there on faith and you want the security, start a part-time business and work on it. But don't do like a lot of people do. They start something and they expect for it to work in a few weeks or a couple of months. That's not trying. Trying takes time. You have to see, well, what works, what doesn't work. But your first objective is to try and at least break even. So if you're spending $200 per month trying to get your business off the ground, then you want to try to make at least $200 per month to break even, so you can stay afloat until you can break your profit and become profitable. So think about it. $200 per month if you need it, but it's worth it. Network. Change the environment. In matter of fact, let me mention this. In my book, I have a chapter. It's called Environmental Paralysis. In that chapter, what I talk about is how people get paralyzed because of their environment. Because the people that they socialize with, family members, etc., they're paralyzed, and they paralyze you also with fear. Oh, you'll lose your money. They won't work. You're not a business person, or whatever. So you listen to these people, and you become paralyzed like they are, and you don't try to get out of the rat race. And what amazes me is that how I see people sometimes who spend money on certain things, material things, and they're okay. But when it comes to starting a business, they think it's too risky. Well, you're throwing away money anyway. You're losing money. So why not lose money trying to make money? So think about it. 20,000 per month or more is possible. Let me give you another example. There are a lot of people that do online courses, and they charge some $1,200, $1,500, some a lot more. But now imagine if you created some type of online course, and you only you want to do small classes, online classes, and let's say you only did 20 people per class each month, and say the class is maybe 2 days, say 5-hour classes, or it could be a week, whatever you decide. But again, the number you're charging, let's round the number down to 1,000. So you decide that, hey, the maximum I want in my class is 20 people. So again, you're at $20,000 per month. But you must have some. If you're selling something for $1,000, it must have value. But unfortunately, I've discovered through studying a lot of YouTube, people on YouTube, brother, there are a lot of people out there selling courses, selling classes, and they are faking it. They give out incorrect information. I guess they go in, they read up on something, and then they say, well, and they'll package it a lot of times, and they'll package it and sell it. So they'll say, well, we are having a 2-day master class. But the big thing now is a master. Everybody has a master class because it sounds like something that's really there. It's a master class. So they'll have a master class and they charge you $1,000, say. Now let's increase the numbers. Let's say you have a class, master class, or whatever you want to call it, and you have 50 people in a month. But the way you do it, you express the value, the information that you're selling. So 50 people attend your class in 1 month. It's $50,000. So what do? You take part of that money, you increase your marketing efforts. And you can, take those numbers up, because online, you can do, whatever number you want. So say 1,000 people in a class at $1,000. And now you have $1 million. So think about it. For all those of you who don't watch YouTube or pay attention to a lot of this stuff, once you start looking at it, you'll see how so many people are making so much money online because it's easy. And the thing that gets me is that when I see people, they call themselves financial coaches, but they have no credentials. They have no proof of their background. If you go to my website, I have what I call a mini bio, because I have worked in the mortgage industry for about 10 years. I worked as a loan officer. I worked as a credit consultant. So I have the credentials. I've taught loan officer training. I taught real estate investing. But some people, what I realize what they're doing, they go out and they'll get other people materials and they'll copy that person's material and package it and resell it. And if you try to contact those people and ask them questions, they kind of like avoid it because sometimes they don't have the answer. And I realized that years ago when I moved back to Texas from California. I was at a real estate investing seminar. This was like before Texas had the home equity. And the guy in the section in the workshop was telling us that you can refinance your home and pull cash out and do whatever you want. So I'm sitting there thinking, that's not right. Texas doesn't have a cash out refi. They did later on, but at that point they didn't. But this company was selling courses, and they were telling people they could cash out and refinance their homes in Texas. But that was not true in Texas. But what they had was a cookie cutter sales program. But what I thought about is that you think they would have done their research before they came to Texas, and they would have known Texas did not have a cash out refi. I saw a gentleman last year on a show, and he was telling people that you could do a right of rescission. You could buy a home and do a right of rescission. And I'm like, you can't do that. And for those of you who don't know what a right of rescission is, that's when you make a loan and you have 3 days to rescind that loan and just cancel it without penalty. But if you have if you do home repairs, you have a 3-day right of rescission, not a purchase. But this guy was telling people you could buy a home, rescind the loan, and never have to make a payment on the loan. So I'm sitting there thinking, where did he get that? That doesn't make sense. You could buy a home, rescind the loan, and never make a payment on the loan. So, but that's the kind of things that's going on online, and a lot of these people are making a lot of money. I had a situation, or I saw a situation, young lady in Florida, credit repair business. I forgot what all she had. Same thing, and all the hype about how professional she was. She did get busted, and lots of fraud was done. It's out there though, so be careful. If you buy a course or you sign up for something, do your homework on that person, because all these people are not legitimate. The show is No More Residing in Poverty. Share the video with your friends and family. Talk to other people about building wealth. Find people in your local area, if they are like-minded people, say, because you can learn from those people. And speaking about learning, I'd like to mention this, is that years ago when I was becoming a loan officer, I did not have any experience as a loan officer. I went to real estate school to become an agent, but someone invited me to come to work as a loan officer. I took advantage of it. But what I learned from that is that a lot of companies had free training to become a loan officer. So what I would do, I would find companies, large companies that had free training programs, and I would take advantage of that free training to learn how to become a loan officer. When I became a real estate investor, and back then I didn't have the money to pay, I think the courses were like $1,500 for the basic course. I went to the library. This was before internet. I went to the library, got books, read up everything I could find about investing in residential real estate. From there, I started to practice. I didn't know what I was doing, but I would practice on making offers, and sometimes people would accept the offer. Then I would be like, what do I do now? But my point is, if you want to make money, there are ways to make money. You just have to get the knowledge. That's all it is. Everybody out there who makes money, they make money based on their knowledge and skills. Athletes, they make money based on their skills, in a way also based on their knowledge, because they have to have knowledge of the game, how to run plays. They don't just go out and play. They have to study the playbooks. They have to get that knowledge on how to play certain parts of the game. So it's all based on knowledge. It doesn't have to be academic knowledge. You can be self-educated. But if you want to increase your income, get the knowledge. Financial literacy is power. Financial knowledge is power. Have any questions or comments? And before I leave, let's see what we got here. Before I leave, I just want to let you know that next episode, we will also continue to talk about how to make $20,000 or more each month.